So good evening, everybody. My name is Eugenia Shatoff. I'm the director of the New Rochelle Public Library, and I'm very happy to welcome you to our first budget presentation question and answer with myself as well as members of our Board of Trustees. I'll give them the opportunity to introduce themselves as well. We have Lucille Renwick, Board President.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lucille Renwick, President of the Board of Trustees. I'll turn it to my colleague to the left.
Hi, Rihanna Navin. I'm the Board Secretary and also the Chair of the Budget Committee.
Corey Galloway, Vice President of the Trustee Board and a member of the Budget Committee.
So this evening, the way that it's going to run is that we have a brief budget presentation that'll walk you through our process. It'll walk through our decision making as well as the fine points of the budget. And then afterwards, we'll have a question and answer opportunity. We have a number of questions that were submitted by members of the public that we'll take our time answering, as well as any questions that you might have this evening. So I'm going to move over to the podium and start the presentation. Thank you. So this is for our 2025-2026 budget. And to introduce our philosophy, our mission is to adapt to our community's evolving needs during these challenging economic times while maintaining fiscal responsibility. Our proposed budget reflects our commitment to providing essential services and resources while being prudent stewards of public funds. So while entering into this budget process, the Budget Committee, as well as myself, had a number of objectives. We focused on efficiency, so maximizing the impact of every single dollar to deliver exceptional library service while streamlining operations and reducing waste. We also focused on growth. We know and have seen, and statistically I'll talk about later on in the presentation, unprecedented growth in our services and our usage. And so while expanding programs and collections to increasing community demands, we have to embrace these new opportunities for learning and engagement, and our budget has to reflect that. Finally, sustainability, ensuring long-term financial stability through responsible planning, diversified funding sources, and investments in infrastructure that will serve our community for years to come, making sure that the library is here and continues to serve you for the next 50+ years. So our budget process followed a timeline. So initially there was an analysis on spending to date as compared with previous year's fiscal spending. We also used community and staff feedback. We looked at trends, emerging needs, and wanted to assess our current performance to identify areas that could potentially be improved upon. After that, we prioritized those resources with our strategic goals and the community's priorities to really leverage and maximize the impact of our limited funding. So at that point, the Board Finance and Budget Committee was already meeting and created a detailed financial plan over a number of meetings to balance operational needs with the strategic planning while also maintaining fiscal responsibility. Finally, that Budget Committee presented the budget to the entire Board of Trustees, and the entire Library Board finalized that and voted upon that budget to meet the needs of the community while ensuring accountability to taxpayers for the vote on May 20th. In looking at our accomplishments over the past year, these accomplishments are really driving our strategic planning. So we had a number of really important milestones and highlights. In terms of supporting digital literacy, we expanded bilingual technology support and really contributed to helping bridge the digital divide. 2 staff members were trained as digital navigators, which is a national program, and we offer personalized support in English and Spanish for affordable connectivity, devices, and digital skills. We also introduced a curriculum, Digital Learn, including guides and handouts both in English and in Spanish to teach technology. In our children's room, we expanded our focus on literacy and STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and music, education with engaging programs. And we had over 900 participants in our summer reading program across both of our libraries, both our main library and our Huguenot Children's Library. Our Full Steam Ahead program and monthly math in action sessions led by New Rochelle High School volunteers continue to captivate children and families with hands-on learning. We had a unique exhibit, which was a national exhibit. We were one of 15 libraries nationwide selected to host World on the Move, which was an interactive display, if you saw it in the library, about human migration. It was really fascinating to see people be able to interact with this exhibit and be part of the research and providing their opinions and thoughts and their own personal migration experience. We also partnered with local groups, including New Rochelle High School PAVE dance program, to offer live performances and events in conjunction with the exhibit. And nearly 20,000 patrons engaged with the exhibit, which included film screenings and poetry slams. So this exhibit was a big deal for us and a huge success, and really was able to really provide an amazing experience for all residents. Finally, our teen program, so Teen Scene, we expanded teen programs with new initiatives. Our Teen Advisory Board, which is a group of local teens, they work closely with our teen services librarian, and they meet regularly to talk about teen needs and how to improve library services. We introduced Pause to Relax, which is stress relief with therapy dogs for teens, and launched our first babysitting and CPR class to equip teens with valuable life skills and certifications. In terms of statistics and numbers, which can be dry sometimes, but I think it's really important to mathematically show the impact, the sheer numbers. We had last year, statistically, over 4,300 teens took part in vibrant programs. Over 26,000 children and family members attended 973 children's programs. We had 10,308 children and teen attend summer reading programs. We had over 55,000 adults attending more than 4,600 live and virtual program sessions. Last year, we continued to be the library in Westchester County with the most foot traffic. We had over 750,000 visitors. We circulated over 285,000 items and had over 28,000 computer sessions providing technology for those who need it. Finally, literacy programs and support. Over 9,500 children attended early literacy programs. Over 4,900 adults attended adult literacy programs. And we had 324 program sessions for English speakers of other languages, with almost 4,000 attendees helping non-native speakers build competency and fluency. So turning to the budget, so the budget that we are requesting this year is $7,227,667 for the total tax levy, which is a 4.75% increase in the average homeowner's taxes, or an extra $343,661 total. In terms of the local impact, the average homeowner will see an increase of $19.44 in the library taxes that they are spending. So the annual library tax for the average homeowner will increase from $413.21 to $432.65. Some budget details. A large portion of our budget is negotiated salary and benefit increases. We also have, due to prudent planning, some new budget lines and some new areas in which we're increasing the budget. As you can see, facilities and equipment, our Westchester Library System is requiring an increase for their services, so we built that into the budget. Library materials, you can see a nominal increase of just about $1,500 to maintain core collections and increase some of our e-content purchasing. With regard to the tax-related SCAR and tax certiorari and debt services line, we did increase the tax certiorari portion because we continue to be beset by settlements that we end up needing to pay back. So we needed to increase that line in response to the increasing settlements. We also added a brand new line, future projects and capital funding. So we added $10,000 to strategically plan for necessary improvements to the infrastructure of the building. We slightly increased the programming budget in order to increase children's programming and teen programming, as well as outreach. We had a slight increase to legal and audit support of $1,000. And we increased our technology payroll postage supply line by $5,000 as we're upgrading to an online and digital payroll system. So some more of the highlights that I just walked through a little bit. So we had that $10,000 increase for capital improvements, the contractual increase for the Westchester Library System. We are a participating member in the consortium, and their dues are increasing. We also saw unforeseen increases in employee benefits, the pension, medical insurance, workers' comp, et cetera. And we're having a slight increase in both children's programming, teen programming, and we're funding a new automated payroll system and some new technology. So in conclusion, I wanted to thank everybody for your attention today. This budget reflects our commitment to serving our community through accessible resources, engaging programming, and innovative services. With your support, our library will continue to be a vital hub of learning, connection, and opportunity for all residents. The strategic investments outlined today will ensure we remain responsive to evolving community needs while maintaining fiscal responsibility. We welcome your questions and look forward to our continued partnership in nurturing an informed, engaged, and thriving community. So to finish off, we have contact information, and then I'm going to head back to the table so we can start answering some of the questions. So we're actually going to respond to patron questions that were received at our prior board meeting, as well as by some online participants. This presentation is also being right now streamed via Zoom, and so we are going to be answering questions that we received from some of our Zoom participants as well. So the first question that we received was in the light of rising costs for living in New Rochelle for taxpayers and potentially higher school taxes, have you thought about keeping the library budget increase to a minimum?
I will take that question. So the budget committee, from the very beginning of the process that Eugenia just laid out for you and how the budget came to be, really from the very beginning was very conscious of the everyday financial burdens of the New Rochelle taxpayers, especially in light of the increasing difficulty in that we're experiencing on many levels. So it was really, really important to us to look at the budget in a way that minimizes the increases as much as possible, while still accommodating the few things that we have to achieve that Eugenia just spoke about in more detail, to really make sure that we continue to plan strategically for the progress that we want to make. with the library. And so the budget that Eugenia just presented really is an extremely frugal one. It has very, very few items in there that are want to have. They're actually really all need to have. And as Eugenia laid out, the lion's share of the increase of this year's budget is for contractually mandated increases in salaries and benefits. So it's almost 90% of the increase of the budget that we really have no control over. And then the few other budget items that Eugenia spoke about are just really minimal increases that bring us to the total amount. And I just want to reiterate that really the increase for the average homeowner this year over last year's budget is an extra $19.44 per year, which comes out to $1.62 per month, or 5 cents per day if you want to break it all the way down. So we really, but we thought about this, and we wanted to, in light of what's, the struggles with the school budget and everyday rise in cost of living, we really thought about this a lot, and came out with the most frugal budget that we could possibly bring to you as taxpayers of New Rochelle.
Thank you, Rhiannon. So the next question, I understand that a huge majority of the budget increase is due to contractually mandated costs. Can you elaborate on the main additional line item increases and why they were necessary? So I will actually answer this question. So a large portion of the library's budget increase is, as we heard, due to contractually required adjustments in salaries, benefits, pensions, health insurance, workers' compensation, those things. So these increases are essential for maintaining a talented and dedicated workforce who provide exceptional service to the community. By ensuring competitive wages and benefits, we attract and retain skilled professionals, librarians, customer service representatives, maintenance workers, and support staff who are crucial in delivering top-notch library services. We're open 7 days a week, most weeks of the year, and it takes a lot of staff to have as many points of service and as many wonderful programs and events and services and all of that, all of those wonderful things that we're known for, that the community has come to expect from us. All of these are dependent upon our wonderful staff and the wonderful job that they do here at the library. So these investments in the staff help the library to continue to offer a wide range of programs, resources, and services, and they continue to benefit everyone in our community. So the next question, can you talk a little bit more about how the New Rochelle Public Library ranks among other Westchester libraries in terms of staffing per capita and money spent per resident on library materials?
I'll take that question. Thank you, Eugenia. So the library ranks actually 37th out of 38 libraries in the Westchester library system for the ratio of staff to the number of patrons who come to the library. So for every 2,000 residents, New Rochelle Public Library has the second lowest number of staff in the county. That puts us at 37th out of 38. And we've actually maintained that level for a number of years. So we do a lot with a little. And I want to just give you a sense of how many people walk through our doors. So in the 2023 to 2024 year, over 750,000, to be exact, over 751,000 visitors walked through our doors and for a number of different services, and 285,000 plus items were checked out, and that includes books and movies, and it just shows how the library is just a vital hub of knowledge and access to information. And that also should give you a sense of how busy the library is. New Rochelle Public Library is the busiest library in Westchester County, but it still remains as one of the more underfunded libraries when you compare it to other libraries in this county. And you know that we have, our neighbors are far more well-heeled than we are. And we, again, are doing so much to provide information and services and programs to our community. And so in terms of spending, and what that means in terms of spending is that New Rochelle spends the second lowest amount on library materials in the county, and that is just 500, I wish. That is $5.18 per resident in the city. So I hope that that gives some sense, and happy to provide more information and more details about the extent of our outreach and the extent of our services and the staff who provide them. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucille. So we had a question submitted by one of our Zoomers, so somebody who's attending online when they registered. So I wanted to point that out to them who are listening right now via Zoom. So the question was, will there be changes to the children's programs offered? Should there be any changes to the budget? So first of all, I wanted to thank you for your question and for your attendance this evening. Our goal is always to prioritize the needs of our community, especially when it comes to the children's programs. If the budget remains flat, as in if the budget were not to pass, however, all areas would have to be carefully looked at to ensure that we're using resources effectively. While we would work to minimize the impact on children's programs, any necessary adjustments would be made thoughtfully to continue providing our enriching educational and fun experiences for New Rochelle families. Our commitment to children's programs remains a top priority, and we would explore creative solutions to maintain them. However, if the budget were to remain flat, we would have to look at all areas to see how we could most effectively leverage our resources. So at this point, I wanted to open it up to the audience. If anybody had a question, anything to ask. So the question was there any look at the data in terms of where we compare with smaller libraries, such as Eastchester, to see where we fall? So there are statistical reports that are put forth through the Westchester Library System. So that is information that I absolutely could look at. What I would say, though, is in terms of simply the sheer width and breadth of our offerings, it's very difficult to compare what we offer, our hours, the a number of programs that we have, the size of our collection, the various service we provide, from one-on-one tech tutoring to notary service to assistance with small business development in our business center, to citizenship classes, our ESL classes, our gaming programs, all of our wonderful theater events in this beautiful theater, our commitment to the arts and exhibition. We could absolutely certainly get you those statistics, and I can certainly provide those. And I welcome anybody online if you have any questions as well. The contact information is up on the board. So those statistics can be provided, but ultimately I think that you would find that the types of programs, events, experiences that we offer really makes it no comparison in terms of trying to compare a lot of those numbers. Thank you. So any other questions? I'm going to open up to any final comments from any of our trustees, any board members?
So I just want to note that we're at a different time right now when we're actually talking about this budget. It's a time when we're also seeing cuts across the board to museums and libraries. And it becomes even more imperative. It's always imperative for us to be able to pass the budget for the library because of the critical services that it provides to this city, to its residents, to its students, to its children, in both Huguenot and this main library. It's even more so because we anticipate cuts that will not impact this budget, but we may see this coming forward in future years. So the support of the library is just one of the more important, and the library budget is it's just an important time for us. So we want to make sure that we provide you with as much information as we can and as much clarity as we can so that the public can make the most informed decision around the budget when it comes to the time to vote in May.
Thank you, Lucille. I wanted to thank everybody for your attendance this evening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in via Zoom. There's going to be another presentation, almost the same exact presentation, the evening of May 5th. So if you have further interest in attending, if you think of any follow-up questions, feel free to contact me with my information on the screen. Feel free to, tell your friends, family, neighbors that we're having another event similar to this one on the evening of May 5th. So thank you, everybody. Have a good evening. Get home safe. It's rainy. It's rainy out there. Good night.